Welcome to another Power BI desktop video. In this video, we will take a look at the preview features in Power BI Desktop. This means features you can already use, but which are not final yet. So I will show you where you can find these preview features and how you can activate them. And additionally, we will take a look at one specific preview feature in a little example. And throughout this example, I will also show you how you can sort your weekdays correctly in Power BI Desktop. And this is it actually, so let's start now. So before we can really start with that preview feature, we should make sure that we have installed the latest version of Power BI Desktop. So if you open Power BI Desktop and find the following message in the right lower part of the screen, so update available, well, then you should click that first. Then you arrive right here. This is the official Microsoft Power BI blog. And by the way, a really great page, because right here you can make sure that you're always up to date regarding the latest features of Power BI. So if you want to, take a closer look at that, so you can scroll down right here and check out the different articles for the different months, for example. But for the moment, we only want to make sure that we installed the latest version of Power BI Desktop. So to do this, we can scroll up again and click right here. Now, if you do this and follow the installation guide and then update Power BI Desktop, well, then you can reopen Power BI Desktop after this. Then you will arrive right here in an empty Power BI Desktop project. Now, where can we find these preview features now in here? Well, that's quite easy because you simply have to go to File up here. Now go to Options and Settings right there. So you don't have to click it, just move the mouse right here. And then select the options right there. And if you look at the global options now and go down to preview features right here, well, then you can see that you have a lot of different preview features that you can activate in Power BI Desktop. Of course, the type of preview features available changes throughout the months. For example, these are the preview features available in June 2017. However, in this video, I want to show you one specific preview function. And this is the one I already activated right here, the new table and metrics visuals function. So the only thing you have to do right here is, if it's not ticked, so I untick it right now, tick this right here, like that, and press OK, like this. Now you might have to restart Power BI Desktop. As I said, in my case, it's already activated. And if you just activated it right now, just restart Power BI Desktop one more time. And as soon as we are right here, we can now finally start. Well, and to start, we need some data, right? This is true. So let's quickly find some data that we can use to take a look at this preview function. And for this example, we will just use some New York City taxi data. You can find the data right here, and the link is of course also provided down there in the video description. However, if you scroll down right here, then you can see different trip sheet data in CSV format. For this example, I simply downloaded the yellow cap right here for January 2014. So make sure to download this file right now. It's quite big, it's about 2 GB I think, so it might take a few seconds. But as soon as you downloaded that file, you can go back to Power BI Desktop and then simply go to Get Data right here and select Text CSV by double-clicking it. And now simply select the file that we just downloaded. As you can see, yellow trip data, January 2014. So we click onto Open right here, like this. And this is fine actually, but now we don't want to load the data into the data model. We want to go to the query editor first, so to prepare the data. So this means to make sure that we only load the data into the data model that we really want to analyze. So this means we should press Edit right here, down there. And now we are in the query editor. And right here, well, we can see that the first row is kind of, well, not correct. So let's quickly get rid of that right now by simply going to the home ribbon right here. Now go to remove rows right there. And now remove the top row. If we click right here and simply type 1, because we only want to remove the first row, and press OK. So now the rows are fine. So let's take a quick look at the columns, because if you scroll to the right here, well, you can see we have a lot of columns. And for our little preview example right here, I don't think we need all that information that we can see right here. So let's go to the home ribbon again, and now press onto Choose Columns in the lower part, and select Choose Columns once again. Now we click right here on to select all columns to, well, unselect all columns first. And now we can specify which columns we want to keep in our Power BI desktop project. So this could be, for example, well, I don't know, the pickup date time maybe, the passenger count and the trip distance, maybe the rate code, and I don't know, the tip and the total amount. I think this is fine. So this means we will only keep these selected columns right here. So if you press OK right now, like this, then you can see that the amount of columns reduced. And this looks fine right now actually. There is only one less thing that we could take a quick look at right now. So if you go to the passenger count column right here and press onto that arrow to open the filter and then press load more. This might take a few seconds because, well, it's kind of a big file as I said. Yes, you can see that we have 0 passengers in here. I don't think this makes a lot of sense, so maybe let's unselect that to exclude that data from our data model in the next step and press OK right here. And then let's maybe also take a look at the trip distance right here. Yes, and you can see we also have 0 right here, so let's maybe also unselect this right now. So we did that, so we untick that box and press OK. And we won't take a closer look at the data right now because it's not about the data, it's more about the preview feature. So let's press close and apply right now, right here, to load that data now into our data model. So let's press that. And again, this will take a few seconds because, as I said, the file size is quite big, but it shouldn't take too long actually. And here we are now. We now loaded the data into our data model. Right here, we are in the report view, so this is the area where we will create our table in a few minutes. But before we do that, let's take a look at the underlying data now in the data model. So we can simply click right here to open the data view. And right here, the columns right there are all right, but the first column is not. Because what I actually would like to have, as we only have data for January, I would like to have the different weekdays in here. And if you look right here, well, we have a date and a time, but we cannot see the weekday right now. And if you select that column now and go to the modeling ribbon, then you can change the formatting. So we can change the data type by clicking right here and change it to date, for example, like this. Yeah, we can see the weekday, this is fine, but not only the weekday. So let's maybe see the format right here, like this, and select date time. And again, yeah, we have kind of what we want, but not the weekday only. So we cannot select it by a predefined function. But the great thing is, we can change that quickly in Power BI Desktop by adding a new column. So let's unselect that by clicking right here. And now select, well, new column, as I just said, right here. And now you can see this formula bar. And if we select the first part right here, so that column, and name it weekday maybe, like that. And now we have to write a formula. And this formula is called format, like that. And now we press tab to complete that formula. Now we need to write the squared brackets, like this. And now we can select the different columns right here. As you can see, I'm moving it with the keyboard and the up and down arrow keys. And we need the pickup date time, so our first column right here. So we can press tab again. And now it's important to write a comma. And now specify the format that should be retrieved out of that information in that pickup date time column. And that format should be, well, a quotation mark, and for example, 3Ds, like that. And now write the second quotation mark. And if you now press enter, like this, well, then you can see in that new column right here that we now have the weekdays, or the first 3 letters of each weekday, in that new column. So this is almost what we want to have, but there is one problem. If we would now create our table in the report view, then the weekdays would be sorted alphabetically. And actually, I don't want that. I would like them to be sorted like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. And the good thing is that we can also change that quickly in Power BI Desktop. To do this, we simply have to add another column by clicking new column right here. Now maybe name that weekday again, but this time weekday number, like this. And now simply write, well, weekday, like that. Press tab again. Again, the square brackets. And again, refer to the pickup date time, so the first column right here. Press tab. Now write another comma. And now we can specify how the weekday or the weekday number should be returned. This means here we would see that the Sunday is the number 1 and Saturday is number 7. But I don't like that. I would like to have the second option. This means Monday is the first day and so on. Sunday is the 7th day. This is fine, so we can press tab once again and press enter. And now we see that we have a number for the corresponding weekday. So as we defined it, Thursday is 4, Friday is 5, and so on. So now we got that weekday number column, but actually we wanted to sort the weekdays, right? So we wanted to sort it from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Well, and if we now select the weekdays, for example, like this, well, and then go to the modeling ribbon right there, and then go to sort by column, then we can see that the weekday is selected at the moment. And this is not the way the data should be sorted, because it should be sorted according to the weekday number, because then it would start with 1, which should be Monday, continue with 2, Tuesday, and so on. So if we change that now to weekday number right here, then this should work correctly. So we have to try that now by going back to the report view to finally create our table. So let's go to the report view right here. And if we go to the visualizations column right now, well, then we see that we have the table visual right here and the matrix visual, but we have the same symbols down there. Yes, because if we look at it, you can see that this is the table preview and this is the matrix preview. So these are the preview functions that we just activated. So let's now select maybe the table preview right here and maybe make it big for you. So I clicked right here, sorry, like this. Well, and now we can actually start by dragging and dropping our weekday right here. Well, and as you can see, the weekday is automatically sorted as we defined it. You remember, this is just due to the fact that our weekdays are sorted according to the weekday numbers that we defined. So 1 to 7, where 1 is Monday, Tuesday is 2, and so on. So this worked fine. This means we can now finally focus onto the functions of that preview feature. Now we have the weekdays right here, but what else could we add? Well, maybe the passenger count. So I simply select it right here in the fields column and drag it right there. And we could also add the total amount, so the total money that was paid. You can see I'm simply dragging it again right here. Now this is nice, but this doesn't look really good, so we need to aggregate our data. Well, and we can also do that easily by simply going back to the visualizations column. Now click onto that arrow next to the passenger count right here and change it from don't summarize to, well, the average maybe. This makes sense. So we have the average passenger count of each day. So we click onto average right here. Yeah, it looks better, but still we also have to adjust the total amount. So let's also click onto that arrow right there. And now change that, well, not to the average, but to the sum maybe. So we can see how much money was paid in total, like this. And now you see that we have our new table created with the different weekdays, the average passenger count, and the total amount paid on that days in January. So this is all fine actually, but that's not the preview feature that I wanted to show you, because the preview feature has the great ability to kind of visualize that in a better way. What does this mean? Well, if you now go to the format area right here, so I'm clicking onto this symbol, now scroll down a little bit to open the conditional formatting right there. Now scroll down again so that you can see everything. Well, then you can see that if you click right here, you can select the two different columns that we created. So the passenger count and the total amount. Now let's select the passenger count right here. And now this data bars, this is the new preview feature that we activated. Because if we click onto on right here, well, then you can see that the average passenger count is now visualized by that bars right here, which is really great. And if you're not happy with the way the data is displayed right here, then you can simply change that by going back to the format area and going to the advanced controls. And as you can see, you can now change the name, for example, or only show the bar. So if you click right here and press OK, then you see that the value is gone, but I think we want the value, so we can go back to the advanced controls and unselect that. Then you can define the minimum and the maximum, the color of the bar, and the bar direction. So you can play around with that if you want to, but the great thing is actually that you have that visual impact now of your value. So we can press OK right here. And now we can simply change that from the average passenger right here to the total amount right there. And if we now also tick the data bars from off to on, like that, well, then we can see that we have the same visual or the same indication by the bar chart for the total amount. And this is actually the preview feature for the table visual. But of course, that's not only available for the table, it's also available for a matrix. So let's also take a look at that quickly. So we can simply press back to report right here, and now unselect that visual we created, and now select the matrix right there. And we can position it right here. This is fine because we will press again that maximize window right here to make it bigger. And now we can define what should be displayed in the rows, the columns, and the values. Before we only had the values, you remember, in that table visual. However, we can again use the weekday maybe as the rows. I think this was fine, like this. You can see again the sorting is correct. And then we can use for the columns maybe the, I don't know, the rate code, for example, like that. Let's select that. And then we can select maybe the tip as the value, like that. As you can see, you now created that matrix, and we will not talk about the details of that matrix now. The only thing I want to show you is that you can also add that great bars that we just saw by going to the tip amount right here, pressing to that arrow, now go to conditional formatting, and now also select the data bars as we just saw it in the format area. So we press onto the data bars and we keep it the way it is. You know that menu already. And if you now press OK, well, then you see that the data bars are also added to our matrix right here. And this is it actually. This is what I wanted to show you. So take a look at the official Power BI blog to learn more about the latest features and about the latest preview features that Power BI offers. Additionally, I hope you saw that it's quite easy to sort your weekdays correctly in Power BI Desktop the way we did it right here. And with that, I can only say thanks for watching and see you in the next videos. Bye bye.